What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree. Here today we are going to take a look at all of the Step Up banners that have come into Dragon Ball Legends over the course of the year, of course. And we're going to just kind of compare them because I can't lie, it does feel like most of the banners change up the model, they shake it up, they're struggling for consistency between the between Step Ups. You don't really know what you're going to get, how it's going to work, just stuff like that. And I don't really think that's a great idea, so we'll see what happens ultimately as the game progresses. But for now, we do have a healthy amount of Step Up banners that have come into the game to be able to compare. So again, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at every single one, right? And we're going to kind of list out some of the positives and some of the negatives, right? So this one here was Step Up Volume 1, came out in October. So the issue with this Step Up, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, was when you got to Step 7, it turned into a regular banner. It did not reset. It didn't shoot you back to Step 4 like the brand new ones do, the anniversary ones, anything like that. So this one was by far the worst one just because of that. So like, some of the other ones would shoot you back to Step 1 and you can keep on getting tickets or whatever the case is. But this was their very first introductory one, so it wasn't a big deal. But I remember kind of complaining about that at the time because I really thought it was stupid because I hadn't really seen that in so long on games where it just didn't reset, right? Or at least to a point. So the thing about Step Ups is just in general, just to point this out, I think Step Ups, whether you're a free player, somebody that spends lightly, somebody that spends heavily, like me, it doesn't matter. I think Step Ups have the most value overall, and it's very, very simple, right? Because the main issue, by the way, on a side note, a lot of people have with this banner, free or not, is that you can't do a daily discount on Step Ups for the most part. But I think the reason why these have the most value and you should be saving for these for the most part is because there are a lot of good units on the banners, for one. But two, if you look at the unit to Chrono Crystal ratio, right? So for the first few steps, you get 18 units for 1,100 Chrono Crystals. On any other banner, you're basically getting for 1,000 crystals, you're getting 10 units. So you get an extra, what, 7 units for free out of this, right? So that's really good if my math is good. By the way, I suck at math, so it's going to be bad probably. So this is like 4,000 or so, 4,100, I believe. But all the while, for basically 4 multi-summons worth, which would naturally get you 40 or 41, depending on how many it is, actually, units, you're getting 10 plus a free. 10 here, so that's 21, 31, 41, plus another one. So 42. 50, 60 units, it looks like. Again, if I counted right. So you get a lot of value out of that. It's just you have to compare the ratio of what you're using, right? So that doesn't mean that you might not want to save for something else, but just how this works, right? So overall, again, this model of Step 1 through 3 does sustain through a lot of banners, as well as the tickets. So I don't really have much to say about this one. I just had one negative. Again, but most of the banners do have good value overall. So we do take a look at the ticket banner. This is largely subjective because it depends on the pool. So all of the units up to that point pretty much were on the banner. So that being said, I believe the hot button unit you would want was SS2 Gohan at the time and stuff like that. But 20% rates for the new units. That's pretty standard stuff throughout all of these other banners. Now we look at the Black Friday one, right? Now, the Black Friday one was one that a lot of people touted as being a very good step-up model, and the reason why was because it had the exact same perks as number 1. It actually is the exact same stuff here. You get the double tickets, Step 4, Step 7, whatever the case is. But on this banner, you also, and you get the free and all that, you also were able to continue. So if you were in a position where you completed it, you do go back to Step 1 and start over. So they actually do have that listed in here somewhere. Oh, we're going to get back to that. Regardless, though, yeah, this was a really good banner for that model. And it did include, again, a couple of really, really phenomenal units, plus Majin Vegeta. I'm hating. At the time, they're all really, really good. So, yeah, that being said, and it also did, again, feature a lot of the main units you would want in the game. So, again, this was one that really was very popular, especially coming in as the second one because of the way that number 1 was handled. And if you're a free player, maybe you can't really take advantage of it resetting or whatever. But for the paying player base or whatever the case is, that first one got a lot of criticism, right? And this one got praised heavily. So keep that in mind. So this one, again, we do come down. We take a look at the units that are on the tickets that are featured. They're 20% overall rate for all of them, and then a bunch of units in here that are low rate. So this is something they've always done, is throw a bunch of units on the ticket banner as they try to have a ticket pool. So we have the New Year Step Up. Now, the New Year Step Up is interesting because it's, again, the same exact model. But we do, with the New Year Step Up, get the introduction of what is, in hindsight, our very first ticket exclusive unit, aka Legends Limited unit. You know, Beerus is funny because he missed the wave by like 1 Step Up banner, I think. yeah, he missed the wave by 1 Step Up banner. He's Legends limited, but doesn't have a legendary finish like every other one. I'm sorry, Beerus. Okay, so again, same exact model. So you see they did have actually some consistency here. Up until, I'd say, Gohan, I think, they had consistency with the banner model and the way it was handled, right? So same thing, same deal, right? So all of the same stuff, so it's all the same value. But this one did receive criticism because of Beerus, right? At the time, you have this thing where it's like, oh, Beerus and SSG Goku, they're going to start making the God Key team. A lot of people really want Beerus. Beerus, unfortunately, is locked behind a ticket. That was the beginning of a very bad practice for them. I don't really think that they should have locked behind ticket units. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's advantageous. You know, if the unit's just in the regular pool, then obviously more people will pull that unit. And we'll have to come back to that exact sentence in just a moment as we get to some of the newer banners. But regardless, I remember really struggling, especially because Beerus also, unlike the other legendary finish units, well, Legends Limited units after him, Beerus is interesting because he is literally the only one that gets a double buff for his Z ability at 5-star. The other ones pick it up at 3-star because of the difficulty in pulling them. So you see the real shift in how easy it is to pull these units. And by the way, each of the 4 new units did have a 20% rate. So the ticket banner isn't even really necessarily weighed towards Beerus. It is, but it's not, because Beerus, like if this was going to be like a 50% Beerus rate, that would be, I guess, a lot easier and a lot better than a 20% Beerus rate and then 20% and then all the others and all the other good or not cards in there, right? So Beerus really did spark a lot of controversy, but really where controversy did get kind of out of hand is when we get to the Legends Step Up Volume 2. So, by the way, this is the second volume technically, while this one was the first volume for the matter. We had the Black Friday, New Year's. This is where we get back to normal Step Up. I don't know. It's not really important, but it's a thing. So what we're going to look at here is the way this banner was handled because the image is missing. So this banner had, it's the same actually setup. So step 4 was for with the ticket. Step 7 was with the ticket. Step 6 was free. And then discounts all through the first few steps as well. Same number of units. So no real change there, right? But I do want to mention that they do mention here that it's a 5% overall rate, which is normal. Cell and Slug do have 1% rates. So this is all normal step-up stuff, normal banner stuff in general. But they, again, continue the bad practice, right? So this one still resets. All of them have reset up to a point since the original one. So when you get to step 7, it goes back to 1 or whatever. Actually, I don't remember. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Some of these might have reset at different numbers, but I'm pretty sure most of them go back to 1. See right here, after step 7, you go back to step 1. Now, I don't remember for the Black Friday or the New Year's. You could correct me if I'm mistaken, but regardless, most of them go back to 1. So we do have another ticket exclusive. This is where things got crazy because at the time, just a few months ago actually, Gohan was probably the most hype unit on the radar, right? Because we all knew they skipped this Gohan because they were going to come back to it. They did drop a SS2 Gohan back in October or so, but it wasn't Father-Son Kamehameha, so we knew that they would come back, right? And this banner also did feature a ton of good units, right? It even included the Dragon Ball Super Broly, who was really new at that point and very good overall. But since this is our second Legends Limited unit, we also have to kind of take a look at the practice that they had for those units, right? So at this part, Beerus got halved to 10%, and Gohan came in at 20. So I remember expressly thinking at this time when these units dropped, again, ticket exclusivity is not good. People don't like that. Whale or not, nobody likes that. So I remember thinking at the time that this dropped, though, that they would stay with the old ones being like 10%. For example, we would later on get Goten, and I was thinking that, you know, he'd come in at 20, and then we'd have Gohan and Beerus at 10, and so on and so forth. And it does appear that whatever new units are also on the banner will always have 20% apparently, right? But that actually did not wind up being the case because as we fast forward a little bit to this banner, this is the banner where things change. Right at this point is where the banners change, and in a lot of opinions, for the worse. So this banner here did some interesting things. So again, you still get your same overall discounts for the first few summons. In fact, Step 3 is actually the best Step 3 out of all of these banners because it is EX or higher. So that's one thing I'm going to put down as a positive, right? EX or higher guaranteed. So you can get a full EX multi or whatever, right? So step 4 is free. Step 5 is just the sparking ticket, and then step 6 is Goten rates times 4. Now, this banner did weird stuff. Why? Because for one, there was no step 7. There was no double ticket. This is the first banner that did not include double ticket. So in exchange for the ticket, they basically gave us this really good, albeit, step 3 that's EX or higher, right? So let's kind of read what they say here. So after playing step 6, you will remain at all steps finished. So when all steps are finished, Goten's rate goes to 4 times. Now, this banner did do something different. I would say it's for the better. I'd rather have the unit on the natural banner than on the ticket banner exclusively. So Goten actually did make his way on the actual banner alongside Gohan and Goku. But the issue with Goten is he has the 3rd best rate on the banner, sure, but it's only a 4th of the likelihood of pulling Goku and Goten, which is wild, right? And then they actually, this is where things get a little bit scummy. See, the thing is, a lot of games have stuff like this. Like Dokkan has their LRs that are really hard to pull, so it's not just a Legends thing, right? But this is where things get a little bit interesting. They actually upped the rate for Goten. I don't want to say scummy. I don't know. They upped the rate for Goten by times 4. And for the rest of the day, you are able to, after step 6, continually get Goten at a natural 1% rate, which again is good because he's on the natural banner. So I remember at the time thinking, okay, and saying, your best chance of getting Goten overall is if you can keep on going past step 6 and keep doing summons because he becomes a 1% rate unit, right? That's your best time to get Goten overall. Like, that's just a really good likelihood of getting Goten in a multi-summon and stuff like that versus a single ticket or whatever the case is. So you keep on going from there. But obviously that's not conducive for everybody. Not everybody can really benefit from that. But I do think that, again, I complained about them having ticket exclusives, so including him on these other steps is good, because I do remember people pulling step 1, step 2, step 3, getting Gotens on those really cheap summons, which is awesome, right? That's awesome. But it's a gacha game. Luck is a factor. So not everybody's going to be able to do that or have a good chance of doing that, which I don't, again, he's supposed to be limited. He's supposed to be harder to pull. That's why I related it to Dokkan's LRs. They do it intentionally, right? So not everybody's supposed to have everything. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. But I also do want to point out something that was interesting for this banner. So for people that had either a surplus of stones or paying players, it actually was a really, really good thing. Because remember how I talked about how steps 1 through 3 just have insane value on like all of these banners because the unit to Chrono Crystal ratio is nuts. You get free units basically. So you do step 1 through 3, 18 units for the cost of 11, right? So you get 7 for free. Again, if my math's wrong, whatever. This banner was good for paying players or for free players that had saved a lot because it reset daily. So at the end of the day, this banner reset back to step 1, no matter what step you were on. It was good because you could continually spam step 1 for 100 and get 3. So over the course of this banner's time up, if you just did step 1, you were able to walk away with a really, really high amount of units versus the actual Chrono Crystals used, right? So and then if you did step 2, it's the same thing. So like, it's a really good banner in that relation. And then if you're a paying player, you can go through step 3 and then get your 4th, right? All for 1,100, and you just summoned, 20-something units, and you're good. Whether you're free or paying, but specifically paying because obviously you have more. So that made it really good, right? So that's where that banner did excel. But again, just the practice of going to step 6 4 times in Goten, it's weird, right? But now we look at the modern banners. Now, the modern banners are interesting. They have been called Deluxe Step Ups. So this is the first step up that features something a little bit different. So let's talk about what these step ups do. So the first summon is 10 units for 500 crystals. That's still a really good value. They do up the amount that you need, but if you're getting 7 more units versus the other ones for, 200 more crystals or something? Or 7 more units for 400 more crystals. Still, that's good. Double the cost here, because you would naturally only get 5 units for that. And then again here, for 1,200 units, you are getting, 1,200 cost of crystals, you're getting 20 units, right? And they actually include the EX or higher guaranteed on step 2, which is nutty. That is really good. And then for step 3, another 10 summon. So you get 30 units. Step 2 is EX or higher guaranteed. You get 7 sparking tickets, which for future reference, you do need 7 tickets to do a summon on this ticket banner. That's a free 7 ticket, so you'd be able to do the guaranteed sparking. So 30 units for, what is that, 2,200. So, again, very good value. So, plus the ticket. So, overall, still solid value. But where the banner kind of goes to hell is Step 4 and beyond. So, Step 4 gives you 1 ticket. Once you've used your 7, you'll notice how, well, from there, you're kind of just screwed. You have to do a number of multi-summons again to even get another ticket at all, right? So, Step 4, you get 1. Another 1 over here, another 2 here, so only 4 available to you. Step 7, you do actually get to do that one for free, but then it shoots you back to Step 4. So this is our first banner that actually takes you right back. And the issue with going to Step 4 is because right here, you actually miss out on the EX or higher guaranteed, which is really good on this banner because there's so many good EXs. But also, you miss out on getting the 7. You're forced to get 1 or 2 each time, right? So that's really the way that these new banners worked, which makes them not as good in my opinion because the value just the Goten, I'd say that the Goten and Family Kamehameha banner was a better banner overall. Even though you don't get double ticket, I think that one had better practice, better value overall. And then these ones are just kind of weird. So and we do have the ticket banners that do change between the banner for the matter. Like the units are different on the tickets. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Overall, though, I'd say I think it's kind of weird. It's between honestly, I think the only banner that really didn't have a problem was the Black Friday one because they didn't have ticket exclusivity. There was nothing like that here. All the new units had the same rate. And then after that, we just kind of get into weird stuff. So we get into ticket exclusivity and or Legends Limited decreased rate or whatever. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe if you're new for more content. By the way, before we get out of here, Vegito does make his way on both banners, which is good. Because they could have easily limited Vegito onto a ticket, which I don't think they'll do anymore since Goten. But they could have also limited him to 1 banner. But they obviously put him on both to incentivize summoning on both. So, yeah. Anyways, have an awesome day, everyone. And I'll catch all of you guys in the next one.